trading ideas from Mitesh Thakkar. Mitesh, what's on your watch list for this Friday morning?
The CNX IT index is the one which was kind of pushing the Nifty down yesterday. We saw some kind of a breakdown happening there with the index losing about 1.75%. Clearly it's gone into a short-term down move which can take it to levels of 5,800, and I would suggest shorting this with a stop at 6120. Dish TV is a buy with a short-term target of 84 and a stop at 76. Grasim is a stock which we discussed earlier as well, is a sell with a stop at 3290 for a target of 3130 on the downside. PTC in the mid-cap segment also showed good traction yesterday. I think a good price and volume action. Likely that the stock will show further momentum and can go to levels of 76, which suggests now buying with a stop below 69.5. And finally a sell on TCS, which was sideways for last number of weeks, but yesterday broke that range downside with some kind of jump in the volumes. I think more corrective activity is likely to follow, and the stock can decline to levels of 1230. I would suggest going short with a stop at 1320.
Sandeep, for a trader, do you think Biocon is still looking good for another 5%?
Absolutely, Nikunj. In fact, we have suggested a buy in Biocon yesterday, and we have a price target. It is the pattern that it has made is very positive. We call it a flag pattern, and I see the move extend till around 325, 330 or so. And talk of a little longer term, talk of the next 3 to 6 months, I won't be surprised if this stock goes to 360. So for me, this is a buy in the short term as well as the medium term.
Sandeep, on that note, just want to draw your attention to the charts of Biocon and what they're indicating in the near term.
Well, very, very positive. Any bit of a correction to the tune of 300, I don't see it go till that. But in case since the Nifty is on a corrective mode, if you get a chance to buy it nearer 300, that would be great. I would talk of a short-term target of 325, 330. That should happen over the next week or so. And 360, 370 could happen over the next 2 to 3 months. So for me, I remain a buyer, and a good stop can be around a little below 290.
Mitesh, if I look at the gainers for the year 2012, there are two special situation stocks, Wockhardt and United Spirits. Which to your mind could be the third special situation stock?
Well, like this, it's difficult to say. I think, stocks breaking into new highs can only show this kind of momentum. One of them is J&K Bank. I think that's a stock which we discussed in the morning. I think a very strong up move has been started, and I think while the stock has gone up by 30-40%, in the last 2 months, I think, on a correction, I would still look to buy into it with the possibility of 1750, 1800 being tested over there.
Sandeep, a quick call on the charts of IOB as well as Central Bank, and how much more headspace do you see?
Aisha, they would remain trading buys is what I would say. I don't see a pattern which will take them from 20-25% up from here. I mean, they are not the best of the banks, obviously. But at a level of 76, the central bank can definitely go to 80, 82. So I would talk of a 7-8% upside in both of this. But they are certainly not the best among the pack. And I would go with a KTK Bank if somebody wants to take a little longer term view and talk of a 15-20% upside. I would go with a KTK Bank.
Mitesh, this clearly is the odd one out. At a time when large cap FMCG stocks are coming under intense pressure, Tata Global Beverages, which is a FMCG stock, is moving from strength to strength.
Oh yes, I think in fact Tata Coffee also yesterday joined the party with a strong jump in volumes. I think you see Tata Global, you were looking at targets of 180. It did a range of about 130, 135. If you recall a few months back, 130, 135 was the level which the stock was fighting against, and it took a lot of time to clear those levels, and then we have seen a very strong rally happening over here. And in that period, I think 80 was the medium term low. So I think a 50 rupee range broke on the upside, 180 was the medium term target. It's been met, and I'm not sure how far it can go. But if somebody's holding it out, I think just a good way to ride these kind of trends which are showing a lot of strength is just to trail your stop loss. I think 168 is the next level which now comes to my mind, and on the charts I think that's where some kind of short-term averages are being placed. As long as we remain above 168, the trend should be in force, and let's see how far it can go.
Mitesh, just want your views on technology, be it a Wipro, Infy, HCL, TCS, or for that matter Hexaware from the mid-caps. It was all a sea of red.
Oh yes, I think, as I did mention in my trading call as well, I think CNX IT has given a breakdown, and I think a lot of these stocks individually are also showing corrective patterns. While HCL Tech could be some kind of an exception in the short term, but I think stocks like Hexaware, I think Deepak picked up that stock in the trading call segment. I think, very clearly it's been in a declining mode, and I think there's more downsides which can happen over here. There's a good chance that we will see levels of around 92 to about 90 being tested on the downside, which gives another 15% downside. Similarly, TCS has given a breakdown, and I think on pullbacks to levels of 13, 10, 20, I think would be very difficult for the stock to get past. And it could decline to levels of 12, 30, 12, 20, possibly even lower over there. So I think these stocks in the next few weeks, my sense is that will be corrective and will go through a downward trend.
Sandeep Wagle, I may sound slightly repetitive with this one, but for those who are looking for a quick trade, should they buy the Nifty now or wait for a decline?
Nikunj, I think the Nifty is in a no trade zone. I mean, you will have 20-30 points down. That is what the weakness suggests. I don't see weakness beyond that, rather, let me put it that way. And at higher levels, selling is likely to come in. So nearer 56, 80, 57, if it goes, I don't see that happening also. So in that range of 40-50 points, it doesn't make sense to trade the Nifty. I would rather let it be alone and take a view on individual stocks. And mind you, individual stocks, you will have both up and down moves which you can catch.
Okay, well, the rupee back at 55 today at least is going to be positive for the IT names. So watch out for what they do in trade today. United Spirits and in fact the entire UB group of stocks, that is something that you would continue to watch out for. Mitesh, after the run-up that United Spirits has already seen, is there any other UB group stock that you would want to bet in the near term?
See, I think, UB Holdings is one stock which you have been tracking, but it's kind of failing to get past levels of 140, 145. If it manages to cross and move above 145, I think then I would like to look into that stock and look at a target of around 165 on the upside as a short-term trading target. But other ones, I'm not tracking most of them.
Sandeep, what's the way forward for Infosys Technologies? Irrespective of good news, bad news, rupee, environment, Infosys seems to be making a base closer to 2200.
Nikunj, I see Infosys testing 2200 or probably going below that, but not too much below that. I mean, I would talk about 2150, 2130 as a level where a bottom can be formed, and I don't see 2100 being broken. So as a trader, you still have a 200 rupees downside, so you can go short for that. But as an investor with a 3, 6, 12 months horizon, nearer 2150 to 2100, the stock may become attractive. I don't see Infosys going to 1800, 1700, somewhere around that. So nearer 2100, I would be tempted to give it as a buy with buy recommendation with a 3 to 6 month time horizon for a target of 24-2500.
Mitesh, what is the chart for Tata Motors indicating at 273?
See, in fact, the stock kind of was just on the verge of giving a breakout, I think, before Diwali, and I was looking at possibility of once the stock starts trading about 285, looking at targets of 305 being tested. That's the level where the stock peaked out in the month of October as well as in the third week of September. I think 280, 285 in the short term is acting as a ceiling. If it manages to cross that, and there's still a chance of that happening, you would see levels of 305 being tested over there. But otherwise, it looks like a range of 285 to about 260, which is the 200 average.
Mitesh, what is it that you're liking out of the telecom space? Does it seem like the move that we saw on Reliance Communications, Bharti, or for that matter, Idea, could actually stay up?
See, I think in the short term, I like Idea as well as Arcom with about 5 to 6% upside, and I think Bharti we have been recommending for some days now. We booked profits yesterday around 295 odd level. This range of 295, 300, once that has been crossed, I think I would again suggest traders to re-enter Bharti for a target of about 325 as a small short-term positional trade.
Mitesh, since you're fond of cars, here's some data for you. Yatin has just sent me some interesting data, and according to that data, the waiting period for Mahindra XUV 500 is about 3 to 9 weeks, for Mahindra Quanto is about 4 to 10, and for Maruti Swift is about 12 to 16 weeks. Mitesh, you'll have to wait for a long before you buy your next car now.
I believe so, yes. In fact, the XUV, I'm sure it's desirable by many of ET Now team members as well. I think also the fact that, ever since the XUV is launched and we saw strong booking numbers, the stock has steadily moved from 650 levels to now at about 900 plus. And in the process managed to get past highs of 870. A very, very positive setup over here. While in the last 2 weeks, the stock has been kind of giving a pullback. My sense is that as long as the stock remains above 870, 865 as the critical support levels on the weekly charts, you would see higher levels and possibly a 4-digit target being met here in the next couple of months or so.